to miss the next 25 to 27 minutes that could potentially be the catalyst to change your life forever. I talked yesterday about the difference between victim and volunteer and being a victor and a viceroy and so forth. And this man understands to the T. When you hear his story, oh my goodness, when he took Nadia and I by and young Jonathan by the place where he grew up, and oh man, and to see what God is doing now. I'm here now at this guest house, and he's up there at the big house. We were hanging out last night, and one of the friendliest, down-home gentlemen you ever want to meet. Listen, those you in the midst of heartache, he understands. Those you right now who are frustrated, you can't figure out why isn't this breakthrough coming. He understands. He knows where you're at, and he's going to help you. So I need you to get some folks on the line real quick, and I need you, my friend, to get something to write on, something to write with. So real quick, I'm going to read our June declaration that we do. I wrote for the month of June, and then I'm going to give a quick intro to our guest speaker, Mr. Phillip Hudgins. I promise you, my friend, this is a rags to riches through righteousness story. It's incredible. He just humble, loves the Lord. And so anyway, but hey, make sure you claim this. Ready? Here we go. I pray, declare, and decree according to Job 22:28 that June is an incredibly blessed month. Every week of June is a blessed week for my family and I, and every day of June is a blessed day. I am walking in the strength of God during this month, and I am experiencing the peace, joy, freedom, and fullness of God. June is a month of great grace, great power, great favor, great wisdom, and great faith. I believe and receive miracles. I experience and experience financial breakthroughs during this month. June brings great health, wisdom, strength, and wealth. Because of the blood of Jesus, I am increasing in revelation, knowledge, and wisdom during this month. I hear the voice of God clearly and speak his word with power, clarity, and authority. I continually thank and praise my mighty God. No weapon that is formed against me can prosper. I am prospering. I am overcoming. And I am experiencing divine supernatural increase. Great health manifests itself during this month, and new discoveries spring forth for me in this incredibly blessed month of June. My God is raising up powerful people in prominent places that will use their power, wealth, and influence to help me achieve his purpose in my life. I anticipate receiving this or more by the end of June or sooner. I ask this in the precious name that's above every name, the name of Jesus. Well, my friend, God bless you again. Pastor Coach 100K with all you sharks out there on this Uplift Leadership Call. Again, we're going to uplift ourselves, uplift each other, and together we uplift the world. But this morning, you're going to be uplifted by this powerful story of this humble man. Love spending time with him and his beautiful wife, Cammie. And they just, again, what I mean, you won't believe how humble, yet how powerful and how practical and down to earth this servant of God is. Mr. Phillip Hudgins. Hey, my buddy, God bless you, man. Good to have you on our leadership call.
Good morning, sir. How you doing? Am I coming through loud and clear?
Yes, sir. You're coming through loud and clear, man. What an incredible
like
story,
I'm in
Phillip.
Backyard,
yeah, we talked about, just do it, but I call your story, just do it too, man. So tell us, the floor is yours.
Okay, brother, I appreciate you. As you guys say, shark. Okay, glad to be here this morning. And bottom line, folks, you have an option when you tell your story. And you can tell when you're among people that are saying, look at me, okay? And that's not me. And I'm saying that for each and every one of your benefits. I want you to open your heart, open your mind, and really and truly listen to the story for what it can do to help better you, your family, your culture, your surroundings, your community, your churches. I never tell my story as look at me. I tell my story and say, you know what? If God can do this in my life he certainly can do it in yours. Because we all know what we get if we get what we deserve. Okay? But I want to talk to you about what you desire this morning. And I'll do it in the form of a story. Dr. Breakthrough and I are friends now for, I don't pick a number, 15 years. Literally, we've never made a penny off of each other. We've never done business together. But we just click and we talk. When he comes through, he's here. When I'm in Dallas, anywhere, I mean, we'll have a coffee. It's just a friendship that was meant to be. And a lot of times people think, well, you know, I'll be friends with this individual if I can get something out of them. And that's just not the way it should be. So listen to the story and take notes from a standpoint of it's not me. I had nothing to do with this. I just followed instructions, and my family and thousands of families around me have truly been blessed, enabling us to live the life we desire. Okay? So started out in Danville, Virginia, born and raised here. And bottom line, folks, if you look up poor in the dictionary, my picture's still there. Okay? They didn't remove it. And I say that, I don't mean I wasn't happy. I don't mean I didn't have what I needed. But there's different levels of poor. And at 8 years old, I can remember my aunt Sally, she worked at a place called Hansberger's. Okay? That would be Value City down about 100 notches. All right? Nothing wrong with Value City. Okay? But what I'm saying is, it was like if a Nordstrom's today or Leggett's or Belk or whatever would have a fire in one of the stores, then they would, whatever they could salvage out of the stores that had smoke damage but didn't burn, they would sell it to places like Hansberger's. And they would bring clothes in on trains and fill up the store. And these clothes looked perfect. Perfect little pair of pants for an 8-year-old. Perfect little shirt. Shoes, everything, socks, looked normal. Okay? But what they didn't realize was once something had smoke damage, you couldn't get it out. It smelled like smoke. You could bleach it. You could do whatever you wanted with it. So she could buy these things for 2 cents, 3 cents, okay, and bring them home. And she was so excited to say, look what I bought you. And my parents were in a position, both working a job, raising 4 kids. They would take all the help they could get, just like anybody else. So they would put these little clothes on me, and I looked like a normal little kid. And I would go from my house to the bus stop, which was 3 houses up, and the kids would be standing around saying, something smells like smoke. I don't know what that is. Something smells like smoke. I'm like, I don't smell it. I don't know what y'all talking about. So get on the bus, ride a mile to the school, you know, not uphill both ways, but a mile to the school. And when I'd go into the school, the people would say, what's that smoke? So I went to my mom and my dad, and I said, you know, I'm gaining a little weight. This is an 8-year-old. I'm gaining a little weight. I think I'll start walking to school. That was my solution. Walk to school. That way I could air out my clothes and it wouldn't smell like smoke. Well, that worked when I walked to school by myself. Nobody smelled it. But when I got to the schoolhouse, it was still there. So now I had options. And folks, we have options in life. We have choices. And the choices we choose ultimately end up being the consequences. We either suffer or we either flourish in those consequences. But it's our choices that put us where we're at. Okay? We need to remember that. So I could go to my dad and say, Dad, you got to do better. Well, that wasn't a very smart choice. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I would like to make some money and help around the house. And if you would let me borrow your lawnmower and the hand clippers, not a weed eater, the hand clippers that you have, I'll keep them sharp. I'll sharpen the blades on the lawnmower. I'll put gas in it. If I break it, I'll make enough money to buy another one. I just want to go out and help. And he said, son, not a problem. Go for it. So I got about 10 yards that I would mow on a Saturday. My biggest yard was 5 acres with a 22-inch push mower, okay, for $5. And around the house, I had to trim everything, the steps by hand. But I did that for $5, which was a lot of money to an 8-year-old in the 70s. Okay, probably 60s. If I was born in '56, so it was 60s. Now, I cut those grass, cut those yards, and took my money, put it back, and I asked my mom if she would take me to a store called Belk Leggett's. It's known as Belk's today. The Leggett's live in Danville. They're multi-millionaires and started that whole deal and sold it, obviously. So she took me. I set up a credit card at 8. And I said, I want to be able to go buy my own clothes and take that pressure off of you and Dad. It's not necessary, son. We got it. I'm like, no, ma'am, I want to do that. I feel like I need to do that. So I bought the same shoes, the same shirts, the same Converse, everything that everybody else wore, and I started to fit in, whatever that means. But I didn't smell like smoke. And when I walked on that bus, I held my head up because I did it. Through the good Lord above, I did it. Okay, I didn't do it. He did it for me, but he allowed me to be able to do it. Now, in saying that, it still wasn't what I needed. So I went to my aunt. Again, 3 doors up. That's where we would catch the bus at the store. It was a little country store. Had gas pumps out front, the typical store. And I went to that store and I said, Aunt Noli, I said, I want to help you. And I really don't want you to pay me, but I need a favor. And she said, how can I help you, Joe? I said, when Wednesday comes around, I notice all your stock. Her husband, my uncle, had passed away. And I said, I know all your stock sits in the floor for 2 or 3 days, your beans, whatever goes on the shelf. I said, how about letting me come up, clean your shelves, dust them off every Wednesday after school, stock all of this stuff for you, make it look good. And then at night, I really have been sitting around and I watch you struggling to clean the grill and tidy up, sweep the floor and do all that, and you're late getting out of here. Let me do that for you. I'm young, I'm strong. Let me do that. I'll go outside, I'll sweep off the whole parking lot, clean up everything, make sure the trash is up, take the trash off, pick up the bottle, everything. And she said, and what do you want in return? I said, ma'am, what I'd like to do is I'd like to be able to come in with my friends occasionally that set up to your counter and order a couple of hot dogs, order fries and a drink, and maybe an oatmeal cookie. I said, I watch them do that, and I'm not able to do that. And all I want you to do is put that on my tab. Just keep a tab. At the end of the week, if you think I owe you money, leave it on the tab. I'll work it off next week. I'm not going to abuse the privilege. I just want to be able to do it occasionally. And I said, then at the end of the week, if you think I've got something left over, that you owe me money, that I work more than I eat, that's your choice, leave it on my tab. And when Mom or Dad ask me to come to the store and get a loaf of bread or get a carton of milk, I'd like to just put that on my tab. And to this day, she never gave me a penny, and she never charged me a penny. And I eat hot dogs along with everybody else. And my mom was, how are you bringing all this milk and eggs and cheese and stuff home, and we never get a bill? I'm like, I'm working it off. It's okay. I got it. So, folks, that was my humble beginnings. Now, at 17 years of age, this is what Dr. Breakthrough was talking about earlier. 17 years of age, I had fallen in love at 15, almost 16, with this young lady. She was about 4 years older than me. She was a friend of the family. Her family was like 2 doors up from that store on the other side. We grew up together. We played together. And she had some misfortunes, if you will. She got connected with a gentleman that she didn't realize he was married. Back then, it wasn't very popular. He had gotten her pregnant. She had a baby. So she had a 2-year-old when we got married. When I proposed to her, I went to her dad and said, I would like to marry your daughter. And he kind of hit me with, well, I understand that. I know you guys are dating. You've been around a long time. We appreciate you. But how about if Layla and I just keep Angie and you guys start with a fresh start, since she's lived with us since she was born? I said, sir, I don't mean any disrespect, but I will not separate a mother from a daughter. If I can't have both of them, you keep both of them. And I was 17 years old. And he said, you got my blessings. Married her, adopted the baby. I was still in high school. I was working in a factory called Dan River Mills. It's a textile factory. It's gone now. It's all overseas. And going to school, working 40 hours a week, raising a child. So we ended up living right straight across the street with my Aunt Sally in a house that has 3 rooms and a path, meaning no bath, no running water. And I found myself running back across the street to that same little store, going around the back to a well house, had a spigot, and I'd get 2 buckets of water and run back across the street, and that was my running water. When we went to the toilet, it was 150 yards to the back of the house, outside in the cold, in the snow, in the heat. You can just imagine. And this was 1974, people. Everybody else in the neighborhood had running water except that one house. And all I can remember, and I want you to think about this, is I remember going across that store porch with the kids that I grew up with and that I sat beside them, and I ordered those hot dogs. And they were sitting on the front porch eating hot dogs. I was toting water. Very humiliating, very humbling. God has a way of doing that with us to get us in our place. And I remember walking back across that street, and I could just feel the needles hitting in the back of my neck. And I could hear them. Man, we thought he was going to be something. We thought we had high hopes. He ruined his life. Look at him, toting water. He's never going to make it. He's never going to amount to anything. Folks, we hear that from people every day of our life. We don't have to believe it. We don't have to live it. We can rise above it. Okay? But it's a lot to do with our mindset. And I just remember closing my eyes and saying, God, I know you didn't put me here for this. I'm no better than they are. I'm no better than anybody else. But please show me what you have for me. This is not it. I know that. And I'm going to claim that. And I'm going to trust in you, Lord, to do that for me. That's a 17-year-old kid, not knowing where to turn, which way to look, but I still had faith. And folks, he landed a job for me at Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. And in that day, if you worked at Goodyear, that was the place to work. So by the time I was 19 years old, I was at Goodyear. We had moved into a little house that we built. I'm talking little house. But it was very much moving in the right direction for me, coming where I came from. And I ended up setting a record at Goodyear. I'm going to say that for this reason, with the most tires built in an 8-hour period that still holds true today, 37 years later. So I had a work ethic, if you picked up on that. I didn't mind working. I didn't mind working hard, and I wanted to take care of my family, and I wanted to help others. It was just instilled in my heart. So working at Goodyear at that point, I started making right at $50,000 a year, and that was a lot of money in the. I was like 1976. Okay, so my wife and I and my daughter, I said, you know what? We haven't done anything. We never had a honeymoon. I mean, nothing. I heard about this place called the Biltmore in Asheville, North Carolina. Let's go down this weekend, take a look at it, walk around, and just enjoy ourselves. And she's like, I'm up for it. We pull into this place, folks. If you've never been there, you need to go. It's amazing. And it blew my mind from a standpoint of being built in the 1800s. It's set on hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of acres. And you go through this big fence, this big opening, and this big thing, and you start going up this winding road, and it's just gardens and flowers and little bridges. And I'm like, oh my goodness. This was in the 1800s. This guy, the Vanderbilts, had a amazing imagination to be able to come up with something like this. You get to the house, and it's, I don't know, 250,000 square feet. It's crazy. And bedrooms after bedrooms after bedrooms. It had a indoor bowling alley. It had a indoor swimming pool. It had dressing rooms. It had a gymnasium. It had everything that they flush toilets in the 1800s. Okay, and I'm fresh out of going to a Johnny house, and I'm like, this blows my mind. I'm doing something wrong. This is just, man. So I looked over at my wife and my daughter, and I said, stick with me. Lord willing, we're going to do something like this one day. I can just see it. I can feel it. Don't know how it's going to happen, but this is going to happen. Again, Lord willing, it's going to happen. So I started drawing, and I started imagining, and my mindset went to what our house would look like. And folks, I'll fast forward for the time that we have left. And I wanted you to get the setting of the story, because the end of the story looks like Cinderella. And everybody wants the end of the story, but nobody wants the beginning. Nobody wants to pay the price and pay it in advance and go through what it takes to really and truly have an amazing breakthrough in your life. It's not just going to happen. I wish you could say I could just touch, Dr. Breakthrough's sleeve and it's going to happen. It's not. I could just believe and it's going to come true. It's not. It's not. Faith has a lot to do with it. All of the things that you guys and gals talk about has a lot to do with it. But it's intestinal fortitude inside of you that says, I refuse to live like this. And God, just help me get to where you need me to be, not where I need to be. Put me in a position. So the good Lord broke me down, turned me sideways, flipped me upside down, put me flat on my back for 58 days in the hospital. That's another story I won't go into. Called the family in 3 times. But he laid me on my back for a reason, folks. All I had left when they were calling the family and saying, he's out of here, he's not going to make it. I could look straight up, and that was it. And that's where he wanted me, flat on my back, talking to him. And all I would say is, God, I don't understand, and I don't need to understand. Just help me achieve whatever it is you want me to achieve. Not why me, God, but what are you trying to teach me? Open my eyes, open my heart. And folks, that's a very personal story, but he opened my mind, he opened my heart, he sealed it back, he healed me. And my mission since that day has been to really and truly teach, help, mentor people to become everything in their heart they desire. And he's blessed us beyond belief. Today, we live in a house that has 30,000 square feet. Now, please, as humble as I can say it, not about the 30,000 square feet. He taught me, if you want to really and truly impact lives and sell people a dream and get them to understand it can be a reality, son, you have to live that dream in front of them. They can only achieve what they can believe. And they can't believe it about themselves, but they can believe it if you show them the results. So the reason for a 30,000 square foot home, that, by the way, has an indoor pool, an indoor bowling alley, a full gymnasium, full court basketball, 30-foot rock climbing wall, 20-seat movie theater, a diner, ice cream parlor that will seat 150 people, skating ring, volleyball court, outdoor golf course, 10 holes wrapped around the place, guest house that Dr. Breakthrough is staying in right now as we speak, 2 houses for my children. My grandchildren live in my front yard. It's just, I can go on and on. A car garage with $3.5 million worth of cars in it that Jay Leno would salivatate at. Now, all of that, folks, all of that is the legacy that I plan to leave for my family. Okay? It's not for me. If Dr. Breakthrough was sitting in my living room last night, and I got up out of my living room and walked 20 paces to my bed, went to bed. I got up this morning and walked 30 paces back into my kitchen and fixed me a cup of coffee. I walked right out of my back door and sitting in my outside kitchen. You might hear birds in the background, enjoying the fruits of our labor and talking to you nice folks this morning. That's where I live. I don't go bowling every night. I don't go get in a hot tub. There's 2 or 3 of them around here. I don't, I use my outside kitchen a lot to grill. We entertain out here. I got people coming this weekend to sell them the dream. I'll bust people in to hang out with us, cook for them, serve them, do what I can do to get their mindsets right And folks, that you can look me up. I'm not selling you anything. It's Phillip Hudgins, PhilipHud like in dog, G like in go, INS, one L in Phillip, and just look up Phillip Hudgins' story, and you can see that in 3 minutes. Okay? And again, I want you to look at it from a standpoint of saying, and if he can do it, I can do it. Okay? If this can happen to him, surely we have hope. Because that's all I'm trying to do. Now, I'm going to back up one step and get you to understand how this became possible. Doesn't matter the industry, makes no difference. I'm not going to put a plug in for us, what we do, none of that. It's not about this call. But I've been blessed to be in the insurance industry and help a lot of people. Our last company, we had 3 partners. We, from 2002, going through all the heartaches that you don't want to talk. I skipped a lot of the story, folks. You just don't want to hear that part. Everybody wants to see the end result, okay? But bottom line, after being made and molded into what the good Lord above has for me, we were able to build a company from 2002 to 2010, and we put in 16,000 agents nationwide. Okay? Out of those 16,000 agents, there were 16 cash flow millionaires produced. See, this is what excites me. It's not about me. But we changed 16 people to the tune of anywhere from $1 million to $3 million a year in their bank account. And those people proceeded to help us with over 1,000 people out of that number, making anywhere from 100,000 a year to $999. It could have been 750, 500, whatever. But the real one that got me was 3,000 to 5,000 people, pastors, teachers, social workers that have a calling, that really and truly care about people and don't want to leave their position that they've been put in. They can't make a living. They can't get their house in order. They don't make enough money. The take-home pay won't hardly take them home. That's not the scripture I read. It doesn't read that way, folks. All right? And believe it or not, money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. It will not make you bad, contrary to belief. It will magnify who you are, okay? And it will magnify you very big, either good or bad, okay? But you were good or bad to start with. It didn't change it. Trust me on that one. So bottom line, we built that company to that level, and the 3 owners of that company, me and my 2 partners, were making $650,000 a month each. Now, in order to get to that level, that was over and above our salaries, our 401ks, our bonus packages, our everything we had. So we couldn't even spend the money. We were making enough money to live on very comfortably before we got the $650,000 a month check. Okay? But bottom line, why am I saying this part of the story? The only reason that comes true is because of being selfless, not selfish. My goal every morning when I woke up was to find another person that I could help get in the position to truly take care of their family. If that meant $1,000 a month in income, if that meant $1 million a year, whatever it meant to them, I wanted to help them, and I wanted to mentor them the way I've been mentored by a lot of people that poured into me to help me become the person I am. Now, I'm going to end with the beginning. At the beginning of this story, I told you how poor, how everything was in my life. The part I didn't say, I want you to hear loud and clear. It has nothing to do with looks. It has nothing to do with what side of the track you was born on. It has nothing to do with race, creed, color, neighborhoods, all of that place. Get that out of your head. It's inside. Okay, it's inside. And bottom line, if you think for any reason you can't make it in this life, and you want to blame parents, grandparents, lifestyle, growing up as a single kid, throw that stuff out, folks. That's your problem. It's in your mind, okay? Because I was the kid voted most likely to fail. Remember that? I was the kid that everybody said he's ruined his life and never make it. I was a kid that was so shy that I would not get up in front of a room and do an old book report. I would take a 0. And people say, I graduated cum laude. I graduated thank you, Lottie. They got rid of me in 12 years, keep looking at me 13. So school wasn't it. If you think it's education, listen to my accent. Listen to the way I'm talking. I'm an old country boy. It's not supposed to happen to me by society's measurements. It's got nothing to do with society. Folks, we serve a living God that can do anything in our life that he chooses to do. Our problem is we don't say, God, your will be done in my life. We say, here's what I want. Here's what I need. Help me, God. It's not going to happen. It's not going to get through the roof, in my opinion, as humble as that is. So I'm going to wipe all your excuses away and say, if I can do it, you can do it. With that, Dr. Breakthrough, I'll turn it back over to you, brother. I enjoyed the time this morning. Loved